Hey, what's up everybody? Nexel here. So today we are playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and it is the day after the high score challenge has ended. So these are my results. I got 424th. This is actually the first time I've ever placed in the top 1000. So I am lucky. I am able to get that SP Sora Guilted, as well as have a few guilt rerolls and trait rerolls on the Donald and Goofy medal as well. So let me go ahead and actually screenshot this. I actually have all my results ever since the very first high score challenge. I just keep them just to have the memories. Now let's go ahead and talk about the medal. So if we go to our medals list and search for our SP Sora. Alright, here it is. Here is our 4-orbed SP Sora that we got for being in the top 1000. So a lot of you guys already know the ability. For those of you that don't, it deals 8 hits, lowers target's defense by 2 tiers for 1 turn, and inflicts more damage when equipped in slot 4. So this is an upright green version of the illustrated Donald that we got, but unfortunately I would have to say this version is actually worse. The reason behind that is when you look at our Keyblade setups, there aren't a lot of good upright speed in the 4th slot. So going to our Starlight first, this is upright green. This is a good choice for it because it is I believe it is the highest multiplier at 35. So yeah, at 2.3, it is one of the highest multipliers there. Obviously, it doesn't work on our Treasure Trove. It does work on our Lady Luck. However, the slot multiplier is really bad. 1.9 is not enough to deal damage. However, if you were able to get the medal, again, it does still receive the multiplier bonus from being in that 4th slot. So it still counts, but if you're playing for meta purposes, unfortunately, with a 1.9 multiplier, it is not going to do much damage with the Lady Luck at level 25. Moving on, 3 Wishes. Of course, it's not going to do any good. Now, this is kind of a weird one. I wish this sort of would have ended up differently. So this medal could have been great on Olympia because it's a lot of upright slots. It's green and red, but unfortunately it doesn't fall in that 4th slot. So it could still be used. It is still a good medal for the 3rd slot, and if it's guilted, you could even use it in the 5th slot for some damage counting. But it doesn't receive nearly as much of a bonus. Like if you guys saw, it was pretty much almost I believe it was 1.5 multiplier. That's just gone when it's not in the 4th slot. So Olympia's out. Divine Rose, it's blue, out. The Moogle of Glory, again, no speed medals, out. Sleeping Lion is probably the best candidate for this medal, just because the second to last one is a 2.5 multiplier. Whoop, that was a mistake. Because that 4th slot is a 2.5 multiplier, making it a really good candidate if you're able to guilt it, because it'll still do a lot of damage. However, 2.5 is still tapering towards the weak end, unfortunately. When you have multipliers like 2.8, 2.9, even 3 on the Divine Rose, 2.5 does fall short, but it is still good. Now, if you didn't get this medal guilted, it still gives you the -2 defense on the enemy, so you can still throw it anywhere in the Keyblade. It could be at the beginning, it could be at slot 2, slot 3. It just won't get the multiplier, but the debuff sometimes is more important. So to that extent, if you weren't able to guilt it, it is still a good utility medal for a -2 buffer, especially good for things like bosses in the game, like the snowman. I know a while ago there was a snowman as part of the regular mission quest. It was very, very hard to overcome at the time. It shouldn't be nearly as hard now, but that medal would be good for that because it does give the -2 general defense down. Obviously, Counterpoint is out. Stroke of Midnight is out because that 4th slot is blue, and the Fenrir is obviously out because it's red. So, pretty much the best candidates for this are going to be, if you have it guilted, is pretty much just the Sleeping Lion slot and the Starlight slot. But that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and guilt this guy, and we'll see what we roll. For me personally, I just want ground enemy defense down or aerial enemy defense down, or even extra attack. Extra attack would be pretty sweet on this medal. So let's go ahead and guilt this guy. Just like I showed you guys in that other video, unfortunately, the defense down does not do too much on raid bosses, so it is sort of irrelevant. Let's go ahead and slap some experience points on our Sora. We're going to put him in the middle slot for luck. And here we go. Let's hope we roll into one of those 3 traits. I'd even deal with damage in raids, which would be okay. But when I rolled for my illustrated Donald, I got sleep and poison resistance. So let's see if we can do better than that today. Alright, here is our roll. First trait goes to... Okay, strength plus 1,000. That's pretty solid. This is a medal used for attacking, so I will take that strength plus 1,000 in stride. Now let's go ahead and guilt and hope we get a fantastic trait. Okay. Okay, here we go. Here it is. Maybe if I look away. For some reason, good things happen when I look away. Is it guilting? Is it guilting? Okay, it's guilting. And we got for our guilt 129, not too bad. 21 mirrors for max. That's not too bad at all. So we've officially unlocked that. And for our trait roll, we're going to get ground, please. Give us ground or aerial, please. Oh, max gauges plus 2, nuts. Okay, well that's still a decent trait in comparison to the resistances or even defense plus 2,000. Not exactly what I wanted, but you know, it's still good. It's still good. Getting max gauges plus 2 means that that gives us a little bit more room if we didn't want to have a SP restoring medal like Illustrated Kyrie 2 or Illustrated Vivi. So overall, pretty happy with this result. Kind of wish it had one of those minus 60 defense traits, but not complaining. I was able to guilt it. I am very, very happy and very, very grateful for that. And you know what? Let's actually give this guy a spin. Let's see if in Coliseum, let's see how well our Sora can work out. So I'm not going to put a skill on him for now. I'm still going to decide what skill is worth putting on him. He is only going to cost 2 gauges, which is a really, really good cost. Alright, if our game would load and not just stick us on the load screen. Let's see if I got a snowman up. Boom! Snowman. Okay. We're going to go ahead, use our counterpoint, and we are going to switch around. Let's see, this is going to be a total... Okay, let's try this. Let us try this. Alright, so with this setup, we're going to end up with -7 general defense down going into our... at the very end, with the key art, we're going to go into -7 general defense down. So let's take a look and see how this works out for us against our snowman. It is in the 4th slot, meaning I am going to get the maximum amount of damage from that multiplier, you know, sans 21 mirrors, but hopefully it is still enough to deal a decent amount of damage. For those of you who were able to guilt it and got ground enemy defense -1,000, you are going to be solid for pretty much any snowman. Wait, ground enemy defense -60%. You're going to be solid for any snowman that ever decides to just walk the face of this Kingdom Hearts universe. Alright, Snowman, the trouble heartless of pretty much this entire game. Let's go ahead and take a look what we can do. So mine's still pretty weak, 610. But you know what? It's still a pretty big wall to overcome. See, look at that. That guilted, max guilted Key R3 did not do that much damage. Alright, here we go. We're going to see. So it's at 35. Okay, it only dropped it by 6, which is pretty weak. Just pretty weak. So pretty much, you need to have ground on this. If you have it guilted, having ground in it would make it absolutely broken. Alright, there we go. So unfortunately, it is not enough. But it was a good damage test. It did show us how much it did at a guilted level. So hopefully you guys kind of enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something from it. Again, if you didn't get SP Sora, it's not the end of the world. There are a lot of other things that are just as good. especially since there are now AoE, area of effect, -2 general defense down medals. You're actually better off with that than a non-gilted SP Sora. So hopefully you guys draw into that. If you weren't able to get SP Sora, it will be infinitely better. And yeah, that was the test on SP Sora. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm going to clock out for now, and then until the next video, take it easy.